Hello, welcome. Today with us we have Josh Ford. We're very happy to have you here with us on Alatra TV.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much for inviting us over to this amazing studio. And Josh, you are a songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and renowned slide guitarist. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit more? How did you get started?
My parents were musicians, and they got me started when I was about 12 years old. I saw a concert with Buddy Guy and Junior Wells, and it changed my life. And I said, Dad, I'm doing that. That's what I'm going to do. And I never changed my mind. I always knew what I want from a very young age. And so for 30 years, I've made my living performing music and recording people's music. And I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. I've had a really awesome life. And it's a lot of work, but I highly recommend it if you can get it. But, you know, you have to work hard at it to make it happen. I love making music, and I hope to do it until my days are gone.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you knew right when you were so young that
Yeah.
this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you lived in Michigan?
I did live in Michigan. I was born in Michigan, and my parents were ministers, so we moved around a little bit when I was younger. And we lived in Atlanta for a while. We lived in Florida for a while, and then we came back when I was a teenager. But yeah, I've been in Michigan most of my life, except on my tours when I leave and travel all over the place.
I was going to say, you traveled for about, 10 years or so you guys traveled all over the States?
And we're starting up again. So I took some time off from traveling because I had kids. Mm-hmm. And I needed to, and I opened this place up. So it was time for me to find another way to earn a living and be here with my family so I could be with my kids.
And we know that you have a few awards as well.
Yeah, it's nice to be recognized from your peers. I have about a dozen or so Detroit Music Awards, which, you know, that and a cup of coffee, $5 you can get a cup of coffee. But no, it's nice to be recognized. When I opened the studio, I started working with a lot of different artists. So I have some awards for producer. I have some awards for outstanding recordings, outstanding songwriting, a lot of different awards, and that's all cool. But it's just what happens when you do what you love, and you go to work every day, and you get. It's interesting because when you're here at the studio, you work with a different singer or songwriter or musician, and they have a different song. So it's like a very interesting puzzle that you get to put together every day. It's always different, so it never gets boring. You know, it's really fun.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And now also, you told us earlier that you work with a lot of people from all over the States, even from Europe.
We have a few people. We have a band called the Purple Lights, which I think is a very interesting name for a band from Switzerland. Zurich. They're actually from Zurich, actually. And they've been here a few times to make recordings because they went to my website and heard some of my stuff and said, I really like his sound. So they came here from Switzerland to work with me, and I thought it was quite an honor to, that somebody would trust me that much to come all the way from there, you know.
And
but
you said that your sound is very different. Can you please tell us a little bit about that? Why?
Well, it's different to most of what's happening nowadays because a lot of recordings or songs or records or television themes or music in movies or any of that stuff is all done, not all, but the majority of it's done with a very small budget in someone's bedroom with a laptop and a keyboard and some pre-recorded sounds that people blend together to make. It's art. It's art. It's just a different kind of art than I make. You know, here we only make recordings of musicians playing instruments. We don't really use virtual instruments. We try to get the real thing. You know, I don't want to play the strings, the violin on a keyboard. We bring in real string players to do it because I feel, it's my opinion, there's nothing like the real thing.
I agree, and it's amazing to see all the instruments, and it's amazing how what the sound sounds like in these rooms.
Yeah, it's a very special space. It sounds amazing in here.
It does.
You know, we do have some good equipment here at the sound shop, but it's really the carpenter. It's not really the tool. I mean, I can make I can build a nice house with a hammer, you know, and a saw that you do by hand, you know, but it's nice to have the power tools too.
Absolutely.
First of all, this is the control room. This is my office. This is where I'm at every day. This is where I sit right here and I do the mixing of all the songs, all the music, where all the musicians. Actually, let me show you this here. This is called a patch bay. So all the rooms that are in the whole building, they all come up at this patch bay. So I can connect all the rooms together right here with a couple connections at the patch bay. All the channels on the desk, all the equipment that's behind me, it all connects right here. All the rooms connect here. This is like like the old telephone connection, you know, where you're connecting. So that's how all this goes together. So this is where we hear what's actually being recorded. When you're in the room with something, you're not only hearing the drums, but you're also hearing the room and the way the drums in the room is reacting to the drums. So when you're in here, you can hear only what's being recorded and not what's actually going on in the room. So this is the control room.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The drums.
So this is the live room where mainly we record drums. It's actually set up for rehearsal. We had a rehearsal in here last night. So, but we don't do that very often. It's mostly recording. But I record everything in this room. If you look at the way the design is in the ceiling, how it's curved in the corners, that plays a big role in evening out the frequency response of a room, so that you don't have too much bass or too much treble. It just kind of gives you a nice flat, even response. And this room was built with the right materials and everything. The walls are all soft, but there is also hard areas. All the oak and stuff is really nice. But it's this is a live room. It sounds a little more lively. That's why they call it the live room. It's not quite so dead sounding.
Okay, let's go on. There's the piano room. Next.
This is the piano room. ISO B. I call it the piano room because it's where the piano lives. It doesn't go anywhere else. This is another isolation room that keep you away from the other instruments, so that you can get quality sound and you can get separation between the instruments, so that if you need to repair something, you know, say somebody plays a bad chord on the piano or something, then they can do it over again. I'm not really a piano player. I'm a guitar player, but this is the Hammond organ.
Can you open it?
Sure. This is the Hammond organ you might see in a church, but it's also used by lots of rock and roll bands. Check this out. This is how you have to start it. You have to push the button and wait for it. Wait for it. You have to wait for it to get up to speed. Then you flip the switch. Then you got to wait again. Now it might be on. Nope, it's not on. Here it comes. It has to warm up. So, wait a minute, let's turn the vibrato off. You hear how it's like that, and when I flip the switch, it starts to spin? Yeah. You hear that? In that speaker over there, there's actually a spinning speaker that moves. That's what makes it have that sound where it's like spinning. And then when I turn it off, you hear it start to slow down. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? That's kind of the unique sound of a Hammond organ that has that spinning feature. It kind of gives it a cool sound. Anyway, all right. And then, of course, this is just
A closet.
yeah, it's basically the closet, we call it. So it's just a really small isolation room. You could put a vocalist in here. You could put a guitar amp in here. Whatever you want to do. You know what? Let's go out here for a second. Sometimes in the lounge here at the studio, we have tie lines here, so we can plug in microphones here, and we have a drum set. We record out here, and this room is not as treated as the other one, so it kind of has like a trashy, sort of a garagey sound to it. And check this out. Yes, come to the bathroom. It's okay. So in the bathroom, it's super echoey in here, right? But we have a microphone in the shower. So we leave that door open, and when the drums are playing, it kind of echoes around in this room, and it gives us a really cool, like, oh, the toilet just flushed because I was standing next to it. You have to edit that part out. Here's the Wall of Fame. Here, these are all artists that I've worked with. The first 13 albums on the top are mine because those are my albums, but then the rest of them are different people. Yes, I have 13 albums. That's what happens when you do it for 30 years and you continue doing it.
Now, what is it about music that inspires you? What is it about music? Maybe it's the way it makes you feel. What is it that you like about it?
Well, I can't imagine what life would be like without it because, like I said, my parents were musicians, and I used to fall asleep in the speaker when I was a child, in the big speaker. I don't know how I can hear, but it's amazing. I don't know. Music has just always been a really good way to express myself. It was an outlet. When I was a young teenager and I was going through teenager stuff, and everything sucks when you're a teenager. You know what I'm saying? The world is garbage when you're a teenager, and everything sucks. So it's like I could go in my room and I could pick up my guitar, and it was a way to escape the world, and just kind of go into another world of imagination and creativity.
Would you say that musician, through his music, can influence the mood of the listener?
Well, sure. Absolutely. I do it on a nightly basis. Mm-hmm. Whenever we go perform, I performed last night. Sometimes you set up your equipment and the place is full, and all the different crowds are different. Arts Beats and Eats was like, everybody was like, oh, it's party, let's crazy, let's just fun, and then like where I was playing last night, it was older people. It was a little more reserved and subdued, and they were eating fine dining. The food was excellent. And it was a lot different type of a job, but there's still a way that you can influence how they feel and their experience and the time that they're having by, challenging them while you're performing. You can look them in the eye and just be like, this is how the song goes. And I know you're going to like it, and just, sometimes you play songs that are, danceable. People will dance. Sometimes you play songs that are, more of like emotional, and they just, you can make them feel something. Like, I know singers. I'm not that singer, but I know singers that as soon as they open their mouth, everyone stops and looks and goes, I have to just listen to this, and they can make you feel something. I mean, I've gone there. I'm a grown man, and I just sit there and I start crying because I'm listening to this person sing, and they're singing with every ounce of their soul, and it's a beautiful thing, and I feel that,
Yes, no, absolutely. And, we were talking about it this earlier, but today millions of people from around the world are implementing the project called Creative Society. And today we can see that we live in this consumerist format where, power and money comes first, where human life is not worth as much, as it should, right?
Yeah.
Everything. And in your opinion, how important is it to change the format that we live in today from this consumerist society, that is this inhumane interaction of people, one person towards another, to the creative society where human life is the highest value?
How important is that to me? I think it's very important. I think it starts with how you were raised and how you raise your children. Mm-hmm. and the belief that you install in your kids, and how you want them to react to the people that they come in contact with. How you treat your neighbor. How you look at things, how important things are, and what's really important. It's great that I have all this, and this is just stuff that I've accumulated throughout the years, and I've worked for it. But it doesn't really mean anything. It's just a means, a way to make a living so that I can take care of my family. But I can't even. I've never been wealthy. I've been working class my whole life, and I work hard. I work 12 or 15 hours a day every day, and I've done this for 30 years. But I know that I've been able to be somewhat successful and be able to take care of my family in a good way. But I know that there's some people that can't, that don't have the ability to get there. But I think that just the whole thought of everyone having a fair chance, a fair shot at life is a great ideal. I don't know if it's possible. I hope it is. I think that, I want that for everyone. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that happens, but I want that for everyone to be able to have, an equal opportunity, because, it's not that way. And, 4 or 5 people that own the top amount of wealth in the world kind of pull the strings and make things happen so that they continue to stay on top. And it doesn't really trickle down the way it's supposed to. And a lot of it is just greed, and I think that, I don't know the answer to any of this. I think about this, and I do want things to be fair, but I also see the side of people saying, well, if I work for it, why should the other person just have it given to them? I understand that philosophy too, but basic things like healthcare and education,
food,
good clean food and clean water should be available no matter what your class or no matter how hard you want to work. You should at least have these basic principles or necessities.
Necessities, right?
Yeah, you should have these necessities afforded to you, and education.
Absolutely.
If you want to pursue it and get as far as you can with education, you should have that afforded to you as well, I believe.
Today, also, I wanted to share that on December 4th, there's going to be a huge global conference that is organized by volunteers of ALLATRA International Public Movement on the platform ALLATRA Unites, where scientists, researchers, people from all over the world that are interested in the topic of climate and environment come together and talk about the crisis that we're facing today with climate change, with the environmental disasters that we have on our planet as well, such as, water contamination worldwide. There's places where water is actually disappearing. It's going underground.
I'm staying in Michigan. We still have a lot of water here.
For now, yes. And they're actually talking the truth about what's really going on in the world so that people can be informed and therefore make an informed, decision on what to do or what we can all do. And in your opinion, I have 2 questions. How important is it to actually inform people about the crisis that we're facing?
Well, it's the most important thing, isn't it? Because if we destroy our natural resources, then we're toast, right?
Exactly.
We're toast.
And how important is it for people to unite worldwide in order to overcome the environmental crisis, the climatic crisis that we're facing?
It's really that simple, isn't it?
Yes.
Why can't everyone understand that? I think it's the mentality of me first and greed, right?
Do you think the media plays any part of it as well?
Sure.
Showing that we're all...
Of course.
And that's what we also see that today, the things that are shown in the media are mostly dividing people, dividing nations, dividing countries. And
it's just bloomed. In the last 5 years, it's really bloomed.
Wouldn't
hasn't
you
it?
say?
Oh, my God.
The problem is that in this crisis time, instead of uniting,
Yeah, we should be uniting.
we're uniting.
We should find the common good and the common goals. Sure, everyone's going to have different points of view.
Absolutely.
You know,
Which is fine.
We
Which
can't
what
help it.
makes
We
us
all come from
human,
where we
right?
come from. We were all
Exactly.
raised by our own set of parents. You know, we all grow up in our own little area, and that's what we know, and that's what we understand. But yeah, we should find the good, the things that we all agree on. That's one thing that this last few years has really taught me is after the shock was over of, whoa, that's how my brother is, or wow, that's how my cousin is. Then it was like, all right, well, let's focus on the good stuff that we have in common, and let's try to move forward. And that's the only way to move forward. You know, is
Exactly.
because when you focus on the differences, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to, like, even if some of the differences are pretty major, you have to, like, find the positive to try to unite and move forward. I
Yeah.
agree 100%.
And today, millions of people worldwide are uniting on this idea of building the creative society. And that would give them the motivation and the strive to keep going in order to build a better future for ourselves, hopefully we can get there.
And our
also
kids.
for our kids and the future generations, so that they can have, so that we can say we actually tried and we want to live in a better world. We want to show you that we can do better, that we don't need a war to make changes, that we can unite by peaceful means. And actually there's been a lot of studies saying that peaceful change is a lot more sustainable than if the change happens by force or by power or something like that. So if we actually all unite by peaceful and unite in one idea, not even, unite our wallets or, our refrigerators or, anything else, just unite in that one idea to build a better world, how much better we can live.
So I agree. I mean, maybe I am an optimist, but I believe that all people are, inherently good, and people just get a little bit distracted by the world that we live in, and by the advertising that's trained us to look at the things we need to buy. It's like,
Need.
yes.
Yeah.
You ever see that video of that guy? He's like basically unclothed, and he's running through a store, and he's like, "Stop buying things. Love is the answer." Do you know what I'm talking about? Stop buying stuff. Have you ever seen that video? It's like, love is all you need. Stop buying. And the security guards are coming to get him, to carry him off. But it was like in New York in like Macy's or something, and he's, it was just, it was hilarious. It was ridiculous, obviously, but it was so, like, effective. But it's like what he was saying was so true. It was like, yeah, stop buying, because that's not what we need. We need to, like, figure it out, And yeah.
Today we also understand that we have this tendency, and this is also that we shift the responsibility that we have onto someone else.
Oh, I'll do my part.
How important do you think it is exactly for each person to do their part in the society?
Well, of course. I mean, I think it's very important for everybody to do their part. But I mean, and I feel like I do my part on a daily basis. I'm kind to people. I raise my kids the right way, and we know value. We know what's worth value, and about life and things like that, and how they treat other people, and I mean, sure, of course, it's everyone's responsibility.
Another question I have for you: in your opinion, what unites all people in the world?
I think that the desire to be happy, and the desire to be loved, and the desire to coexist, I think is a good basic place to start. Music, that's what I'm supposed to say. Music unites everyone. It is the international language, Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. I hate to say, I mean, we are all united, and more so than ever, and divided at the same time because of technology. It's so much easier to connect with everyone. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm just going to say optimistic and say love. Love unites us all.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Just to remind our viewers that we have Josh Ford with us from
Yeah.
Motor City Josh.
Right?
Here in
.com.
Michigan. Yes, and Josh, tell us, what would you like to wish to the viewers that are watching us right now?
What would I like to wish? I wish you a very Merry Christmas. No, I don't know. I wish that you would go to MotorCityJosh.com and check out our music and come to the Sound Shop recording studio and make some recordings. And okay, the public service announcement's over. I wish you all love. I wish you all peace. I wish you all a very fulfilled life.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today and to inviting us to this amazing studio. And thank you so much.
Awesome. My pleasure. Thank you so much.